Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 325. Sorry about the slight delay, everybody. We were a little preoccupied outside of my house a while ago. Copper's Cove delivered 3 ambulances and 2 engines to my house, or not my house, but the house across the street from ours. There was a fire, and it looks like everybody's okay, and that's crazy. Let me see here. Let me see. My wife just texted me a couple pictures. Okay, so there's one. Pretty good bunker gear, and there's the other one right there. But it looks like everybody's okay. So, wow, I tell you, amazing what some of the things that happen and stuff. Yeah, I was out in the backyard making sure my dogs were okay, and I was hearing some sirens. And then I saw one of the ambulances come screaming down my road and stopped in front of my house. And I ran to my wife just to make sure she wasn't the one that called 911. And then we went out to the garage door and saw all the fire trucks and ambulances. And it was a fire coming out the front and the back. So I hope no one was hurt, and the damage is minimum. Wow. Okay, so that was all the excitement we need, right, guys? So welcome to the JP8 report. Don't forget, if you're watching this and you're not already a follower of the JP8 report, please click that follow button, and then click that like button, the thumbs up, and then please, I keep saying please. Well, it's good to say please, right? Well, and then if you notice, we have our chat room that's up. It's a live chat. Please go in there. We got Retired Rob 53. He's monitoring it. He goes by the code name Padre because he's a priest also. Yeah, engage us on there. If you're watching, give us an American flag. That'd be cool. So we all see that who's all in the chat room right now. This may be kind of a long podcast, so if y'all drift in and drift out, I mean, that's okay with me. We got a lot of information. I want to close out all the news I've been collecting all week. Try to close it out today, but there's a lot of it. All right. So, America 250. Well, before we do the American 250, some breaking news just a few minutes ago was Luigi Mangione. He's in trial for, I guess, just for stalking now. He killed someone, and they dropped the murder charges and charged him with stalking, which is crazy. But they set his trial date for June 8th of this year, and he just jumped up and started yelling at the reporters in the room. So I don't know what else happened because of that. And then the feds busted 500 truckers at a inspection point who could not speak English. All right. So where are we? We are on part 3 of Trevor Newland's letter to Benjamin Franklin. So I did part 1 yesterday morning and part 2 yesterday afternoon, and then I redid part 2 because, oh yeah, that's the other thing. I really apologize. If y'all were watching my podcast yesterday, I don't know what was going on with me. I feel completely different now. So, but I decided to redo some of the stuff, and I wanted to give y'all the chance to listen to this America 250 letter to Benjamin Franklin. So I read part 2 over again this morning, so I'm going to start on part 3. All right? So Here we go. Give me some American flags in the chat. Let's see. Where am I? Okay. Ships fire very slow and fire at random. Neither can it be imagined that men can stand to their guns were shot and splinters and is continually flying, much less level and point guns accurately. In short, they must do as the French did on board foresail of the line at Louisburg. In a short time, they must strike or jump into the hold. Notwithstanding, we never had more than 2 guns playing upon any ship at a time. 12 guns would be sufficient. 6 upon the Long Island and 6 upon Nutten Island, and 12-pounders would be heavy enough at a distance is but short, and less than 3 pounds of powder would be sufficient for a charge. There ought to be 2 men to each gun and that understand loading and firing. The rest may be raw. I would imagine the Lord Stirling would be a very proper person to command the detachment, and would readily accept the command, I make no doubt. The troops might be moving, some at the Narrows, some at the ferry at York, even might go to Jamaica, Flatbush, etc., until guns and matters are in readiness. The command officer and engineer at the ferry off and on to reconnoiter the ground and view the position of the vessels. I have there thrown a few matters together in a rough manner. However, I shall not needlessly make any apology for troubling you, as the intention is good. I can assure you that these hints, as I call them, are no whim or production of my own, but from real practice and experience, which I have often seen and helped to execute in rivers, lakes, and harbors. I would not offer to impose anything of my own framing, and in short, I have seen so much warfare during my 28 years of service, and as experience is allowed to be the master, to be the best master. If I follow only that which I have seen and executed, there can be no room for me left for invention. I cannot dismiss the Narrows yet, though I need to inform you that should be much attended to. Let the York people be Tories or what will, the enemy should not be allowed to slip into the heart of the country without gaining it by inches. Sounds like a really good military person. The Narrows are cynical, and the people thereabouts disposed to be troublesome. It is the most desirable situation for an army, as they can either act they can act either to the eastward or westward together, or separate, and supplies can come from all quarters, either by land or water. The acquaintance friends to the cause have frequently attacked me with respect to my inactivity in this affair. I told them frequently I had to offer my services to you, and said that no doubt but I should be called upon when wanted. This appeased them for some time, but at our county meeting in Freehold, they threw out several innuendos purporting that I never had offered my services, signifying that it appeared to them impossible and very strange that an experienced officer's service such as a juncture would be refused by any prince or opponent. I beg, therefore, that you offer my services to the honorable, to the Congress, and send me something to show that I have done so. Notwithstanding, I belong to all their committees and councils, but they look upon as if triffing in a military man. Yet I expect to be looked upon as a rank Tory in a short time. That's why you want some paper. Without you send me something to show them. I have attacked Morris violently. They have attacked Morris violently. They looked upon all who is and have been connected with the government with the eye of distrust, especially officers that is not employed. A battery placed, as before I mentioned, has great power and command of shipping. One shot fired in this angular manner from his eminence will do more execution than 20 fired horizontally. For if the shot strike the vessel on one side, between wind and water, they will come out of the other side some feet below water. In short, the powder room and all is in danger, nor will the men's lying flat upon the deck screen them. I have had experience of this, acting as a Marine officer on a board men of war. What I have said before experienced officers who have explored the country's rivers, lakes, and difficult passes, in short, that know every inch of ground, that have drubbed and been drubbed, for drubbing brings them to reason and reflection. I will oblige them to think that those that know the people on the opposite side, when and where to attack and when not, that know when they have gained an advantage and how to keep it. Amherst's advice to his officers at table and upon all occasions was never to lose an inch of ground gained, and used to say that 1,000 gained, nay, 1,000,000, would not compensate for 1 foot lost. They moved so slow and so cautiously that he never lost an inch or met with a check, by which he acquired the name Snail from a Volatile. And, that know all the maneuvers and how they carry on their works and duty both by day and night, that knowing the meaning of every tap of the drum, such as these would be thought inestimable in any service that were opposed to England, that you may, sir, that Mr. Swan was recommended last war in your regiment for an adjutant because he fought the blacks in Jamaica. I can, without exaggeration, and I'm sure there is none that will be hardy enough to deny it, say that there was not one officer this day in America that has seen more service than I have, both abroad and at home. During both the late wars, I have served both in horse, foot, and Marines. I have acted as an engineer at several sieges and in several other departments not regimental. It cannot be that they have seen more. From this reason, I know that them all in the service they have seen, and there is none of them much older, if any, and I'm sure I went so early into the service as any other of them, and I'm positive that I met with such approbation and applause from my superior officers, such as any man ever did upon all occasions, and yet there is nothing could prevail with me to engage again, but the present cause. My all is now at stake. The die is thrown. I must conquer or die. I have the honor and most respectfully to be, sir, your most humble and most obedient servant, Trevor Newland. And then Ben Franklin has a response. P.S. I do not know that I have the honor of being acquainted with many of the delegates of the Congress. I think that you and Mr. Clinton must be the first and earliest acquaintance I have seen in that respectable body. The matter I have been pre-positioned. I would undertake as director engineer of the works and be with a reasonable man to command the men. I wish Lord Sterling would accept it. He served the campaign of 56 with us as secretary. I hope you'll excuse this long letter and impute it with the impulse I have for the cause. Honorable Dr. Franklin. All right. So that's the big, long letter from Trevor Newland to Benjamin Franklin on the 5th of January, including the response that Ben Franklin wrote right after he read such a long letter. All right. Thank y'all for letting me read that. And I apologize for the distraction yesterday. Leave me an American flag in the comments if you heard me read that just now. Let's see. I'll read that one on Monday. All right. So let's go. We got one more I want to do before Benghazi. I read this morning. This guy deserves to be recognized twice. Okay, hold on just a second. Garage fire. Oh, the fire was a garage fire, everybody. And it's out. Okay, that's good. All right, so what I reported this morning, which came out yesterday, I did not know that when the president announced the Medal of Honor for Staff Sergeant Michael Ollis the other day, there was another Medal of Honor that was authorized also. And that would be for Navy Captain Royce Williams. And he was a Navy lieutenant when he earned this. Look, I've already read this once. I'll let y'all know right now. If y'all watch the movie Top Gun, this is it. All right? This happened in 1952. Korean War hero Royce Williams is being awarded the Medal of Honor, and his actions are something not even Hollywood could have dreamed of. Congressman Darrell Issa announced on Wednesday that President Donald Trump officially informed Williams of his Medal of Honor. That means we have 62 living recipients of the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is the nation's highest military award. It is only awarded for actions so heroic that often sometimes the person earning it is killed. Williams is still with us in 2026, and his once secret actions are now out in the public. Buck up for one of the most insane war stories you'll ever hear. Williams is being awarded the Medal of Honor for an air battle against 7 Soviet MiGs in the Korean War in 1952. The now 100-year-old Navy veteran took on all 7 Soviet MiGs by himself and successfully shot down 4 of them during a fight for his life that lasted 35 minutes, according to NBC San Diego. Williams' F-9, F-5 Panther fighter jet took significant damage from enemy fire during unprecedented air battle between the Soviet Union and the U.S. Navy. And it was a carrier, it was an aircraft carrier aircraft. The damage included a 37 millimeter round directly to the fuselage, according to a release by Congressman Issa. 37 millimeters that's 1, 2, 3 centimeters, about that big a hole in his aircraft while he was fighting the Soviet MiGs. Williams was eventually able to get back to his aircraft carrier, and then that's when the situation took a serious turn. The government and military made a decision to keep the action secret from everyone because they didn't want to acknowledge the Soviets were secretly in the war. And his actions would become public for the first time in 2016. which is 10 years ago. Before I go any further, that's his picture. That's Captain Williams, Royce Williams. And then if you're not sure, a captain in the Navy is equivalent to a colonel in the Army. So taking on 7 Soviet MiGs all by yourself is next level incredible. And in fact, the brutal, deadly, and violent air battle lasted 35 minutes. And that's impossible to wrap your mind around what happened. I can't imagine how slow time was passing for Williams as he sat in the cockpit fighting for his life. Seconds must have felt like hours, minutes must have felt like days, as he tried to down as many Soviets as possible. You think the Top Gun movies are neat? That's fiction. It's not real. What Williams did had an international impact as the Soviets had to come to terms with the fact that a single American pilot took on an entire Soviet assault force and won. The MiG-15, which was the fighter jet the Soviets were using at the time, was also no joke. It was an incredibly impressive fighter jet for its time, and I guess it was simply no match for Williams on the other end. And then lastly, Williams getting the Medal of Honor for a secret battle 74 years later is a great reminder that a lot of stuff that had happened, the public has no idea about. And I'm sure there's always plenty of other stories to tell, and I certainly hope we all hear about them. And it's always a great day to celebrate America and a great military. And let me know your thoughts on this, on Williams' heroics. And this was written by David Hookstead at Outkick.com. Isn't that amazing? Man, you know, I would like to know about the person who wrote the movie Top Gun. Did someone leak something about this battle and he just modernized it and made it look sexy with the F-14 Tomcats and stuff? Because that is something else. He knocked down 4 Soviets out of the sky. One short, he's a Navy captain. You know, the war lasted another year and a half. And he'd probably be a Vietnam veteran also. Did he shoot down one more and became an ace? You know what? That's a good question. Give me a second here. I want to find out. Is Royce Williams an ace? Let's see. Yes, Royce Williams is considered a Korean War ace for his actions on November 18th, 1952, where he shot down 4 MiGs in a single 35-minute dogfight, despite the actions being classified. Let's see. It does not say how many other confirmed kills he has. Oh my goodness. Okay, he is accredited for shooting down 4 of the MiGs. His plane sustained 263 hits of enemy fire. He's lucky to be alive. American warrior spirit, that's what that is. All right, so that is awesome. I'm going to have to try to figure out if he got 5 kills. I will let y'all know when I can. Hey, Padre, if you're watching, I know you're on the chat. If you or anyone else in the chat, look up Captain Royce Williams, U.S. Navy, and find out how many confirmed air-to-air kills he has in his career. Okay, not just the 4 he shot down in Korea, but there's the rest of this expanse of his military career and see if he's one of the military aces for the U.S. military. Because that would be great to know. All right, let's go. Let's get, where are we at? We're at 12:26. Okay, let me move my mic is going red on me. Okay, so I need to calm down a little bit. And then I'll put a circle here. Got that. I already told y'all about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the other big news that came out today was the mastermind behind the Benghazi attack, the terrorist attack on September 11th of 2012, was captured and is in U.S. custody. One of the architects of the deadly 2012 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, has been arrested and will be prosecuted on arson, murder, terrorism charges, Justice Department officials announced on Friday. Zubar al-Bukush landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 a.m. this morning. He is in our custody. He was greeted by FBI Director Kash Patel and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. Attorney General Pam Bondi told reporters at DOJ headquarters. Prosecutors will prosecute his alleged terrorism to the fullest extent of the law, Bondi vowed, and while Pirro said she and her team will not stop hunting down other attackers who remain at large. Doesn't matter how long it's going to be, we'll get you. The Benghazi saga was one painful one for Americans. It has stayed with us all. And let me be very clear. There will be more of them out there. There are more of them out there, the U.S. Attorney said, sharing now that she and Patel had kept in touch with family members of the 4 Americans that were killed in the attack. Time will not stop us from going after those predators, no matter how long it takes, in order to fulfill our obligation to those families who suffer horrific pain at the hands of those violent terrorists. September 11th, 2012, assault on the diplomatic compound in Libya's second largest city took the lives of U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens, State Department Comms Director Sean Smith, CIA contractors Tyrone Woods, and Glenn Dougherty. And you know, if you're wondering, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a movie that was made. It's called 13 Hours, the 13 Hours Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Okay, it tells all about the entire attack. All right, man, I am so glad that they got that. That is really good. Let's see some more American flags. Come on, guys. I'll start it up. I'll put one in there. There's an American flag. Boom. Whoosh. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. All right. Hold on just a second. Let me refresh. Alrighty. So, the next thing is talking about the Republican National Committee. They're rolling out a powerful new TikTok strategy to win over key demographic after Trump's 2024 success. The Republican National Committee is upping its social media presence and following President Donald Trump's lead by officially launching a TikTok account, marking a strategic shift for the party as it continues to look to connect with younger voters. The RNC's new plan to make an impact on the digital front lines involves the official launch of @Republicans on TikTok, which is designed to engage a critical demographic, voters under 30 who may not follow traditional political news but rely heavily on social media for information. The move comes at the same time from the Pew research shows that 63% of Americans aged 18 to 29 use TikTok. Wow. The platform, that's amazing. The platform also has become an essential battleground for reaching the next generation of voters. Trump has credited TikTok for being a key part of his election in 2024. I wasn't a fan of TikTok, and then I got to use it, Trump said last fall, and I became a fan. And it helped me to win the election in a landslide. The data shows TikTok was a valuable tool for Trump and his administration, and Reuters reported he amassed nearly 3 million followers in just 24 hours after joining the platform and quickly began drawing tens of millions of views. That is unbelievable. So look at the handle is @Republicans. That's the TikTok handle for the Republican National Committee. All right. Any comments on that? Man, but that is cool. So if the RNC could get a TikTok, I may have to consider it myself. Hope my daughters ain't watching this right now. I have to explain myself to them then. All right. So we have a couple of endorsements here from President Trump. Let me get all three of them. Okay, so while we're doing that, if you are, let me get that one too. Yeah. Okay, so if you're watching right now, don't forget to click that like button and give us a follow if you're not already a follower. Alrighty. So let me go back over here. All right, so cool. All right, so then the first one is Trump is endorsing Clay Fuller for the 14th Georgia House seat. And that was a seat that belonged to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Says here, President Trump has endorsed Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit District Attorney Clay Fuller for the U.S. House seat in Congress in Georgia's 14th Congressional District. The seat was vacated earlier this year by former GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's my honor to endorse America's first patriot, Clay Fuller, who is running to represent the wonderful people of Georgia's 14th Congressional District, Trump declared on Truth Social. Let's see. When is it? As District Attorney for Lookout Mountain Judicial in the Air National Guard officer, Clay knows the wisdom and courage required to defend our country, support our brave military veterans, and ensure peace through strength. As your next congressman, Clay will fight. All right. So I lost where I was at. He's strongly supported by someone was calling me about the fire. Okay, just forgive us. I hope Kevin is watching. All right. So he is strongly supported by the most respected MAGA warriors in Georgia and many Republicans in U.S. House of Representatives. Trump asserted Clay Fuller is my complete and total endorsement to be the next representative from Georgia's 14th Congressional District. He will not let you down. Okay, so let's see here. He filed for election on January 12th. He said it's an honor of a lifetime, Mr. President, for his support. And special election to fill Green's seat is scheduled for March 10th. And what's today's date? February 6th. So 1 month from now. All right. So the special election is scheduled for March 10th, according to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, and noted that in the call for a special election that a special runoff election, if needed, will be held April 7th. Oh my goodness, that's quick. Okay. If none of these candidates win a majority of the votes in the special election, the top two finishers will advance to the runoff. All right, so March 10th and then April 7th. Remember that if you're in the Georgia 14th. The next one, Republican President Trump has endorsed Louisiana State Senator Blake Miguez, who recently dropped a U.S. Senate bid to run for the U.S. House of Representatives. It is my great honor to endorse MAGA warrior Blake Miguez, who is running to represent the tremendous people of Louisiana's 5th Congressional District. The president declared in a Truth Social post on Wednesday, Blake Miguez has my complete and total endorsement to be the next representative from the Louisiana's 5th Congressional District. He will not let you down. Miguel thanked the president for his support. And this is not a special election. This is the actual election on November 3rd. All right. Says, thank you, Mr. President, for your endorsement. Louisiana deserves true America First representation in Washington to back the MAGA agenda. President Trump is the greatest president in our nation's history. I'm honored to have the endorsement and look forward to delivering for Louisiana's 5th and our country. And last year he mounted a Senate bid, but when Mrs. Litlow from Congresswoman Litlow decided she's going to run against Bill Cassidy, President Trump threw his support behind her. So Mr. Miguez decided he's going to run for the House, and then he got endorsed by the president also. So there's another strong Republican running for office. Mr. Cassidy might as well just make retirement plans. Okay, another Republican. This one, hold on just a second. All right, here's another Republican. He's running for the Senate in the state of Kentucky. His name is Nate Morris, and he's planning to replace Mitch McConnell. He was backed by Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk died last year. So businessman Nate Morris is gaining ground in the race to replace retiring U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell. Fueled by high favorability ratings, more name recognition, and the endorsement of the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, according to an internal polling memo obtained by the Post. Fabrizio Lee and Associates was commissioned by the Morris campaign to survey likely GOP primary voters in the Bluegrass state last month and found that the candidate's support has grown by 13 percentage points since the firm's previous poll in August. Steady, stable growth upwards. That's good. If the primary election was held today, a plurality of 29% would vote for the former Commonwealth Attorney General David Cameron, while 21% would support Representative Andy Barr and 18% would support Morris, and another 29% is undecided, survey found. So if you look at that, it would go toward a runoff election, right? So he still has a ways to go. He's 11 points behind Daniel Cameron. Daniel Cameron used to be the Attorney General in Kentucky. So we will see how that one. And Andy Barr was a very influential Republican in the House of Representatives. I don't know who their Democrat representative is going to be. However, President Trump's top pollster found the race is a statistical tie among those who already have an opinion on all three contenders. So President Trump's top pollster found 28% for Morris, 26% for Cameron, and 25% for Barr. It's just like the Senate race here in Texas between Cornyn and Paxton and Hunt. That close. It's going to be a runoff. And Morris moves ahead by 20 percentage points when would-be voters are made aware of the Kirk endorsement, earning 42% to 22%. So we'll see. In the poll, the August poll had 40% of the likely Republicans supporting Cameron, 17%, Barr, and 5% preferring Morris. And I think that's all. Yep. Alrighty. So there's another strong conservative that's trying to get elected. But wait, there's one more. All right. So there was a Republican that barely lost in New York in 2024 to Tom Suozzi. So he used to be a state assemblyman in New York named Michael LePetri. The New York Republican who nearly upset local Democrat Representative Tom Suozzi in 2024 is seeking a rematch over his House seat, which takes parts in Nassau County and Queens. Former state assemblyman Michael LePetri, who lost to Suozzi by only 3.6 percentage points, announced his candidacy for the GOP nomination on Tuesday. He faces the potential primary, but has the backing of Nassau GOP machine on Long Island, including Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who is running for governor of New York, and who will, oh yeah, he just said that one. Okay. LePetri is embracing President Trump and the Trump record in his election bid. Under President Trump's leadership, Republicans have delivered no tax on tips, Social Security, overtime, and we've even raised the SALT tax cap, directly helping hardworking New Yorkers. He's also seeking to make the race a referendum on New York City's Democrat Socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Flipping this seat and stopping Mamdani madness and lawlessness was spreading from Long Island is critical. He said in a statement, if you want safe streets, more money in your pockets, and common sense over chaos, vote Republican LePetri for Congress in November. All right. Sounds all good and stuff, man. But if you want to go over the top, you need to get out there and flip pancakes and kiss babies, because that's where the rubber is going to meet the road. It's good to issue press releases with this good stuff that the president has done, but the people in New York want to know what you are going to do for them, and you need to get out there and let them know that, all right? Or you're not going to win. Alrighty. Scratch my leg real quick. Okay, so we got this one, and that one done. Okay, so next, we're going to talk about a Democrat. My favorite subject, Jasmine Crockett. But wait, there's one more. There's Bernie Sanders. All right, so both of them deal with campaign finance reports. Let's see, we'll do Bernie Sanders first. All right, so Bernie Sanders spent over $550,000 in 2025 campaign funds on private jets following show. Bernie Sanders, who crisscrossed the country last year on a fighting oligarchy tour with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or Sandy Cortez, spent over $550,000 on private jet travel for himself using campaign funds. Fox News digital review of his FEC filings found the majority of the spending came in the first 2 quarters, which cover up until July. That is also when Sanders and AOC had the majority of their tours stop across the country. Do tour stops across the country in April. Between stops on the tour, Fox News exclusively obtained a photo of Sanders boarding a luxury Bombardier Challenger private jet at the Meadows Field Airport in Bakersfield, California. The source also indicated seeing the New York Congresswoman boarding the jet as well. The pair were subsequently also seen in the footage obtained by Fox News Digital exiting the plane in Sacramento later that evening, where the self-identified Democrat Socialist hosted a second rally in the same day. The Bombardier Challenger private jet flew the pair was operated by Ventura Air Services, which touts one of the widest cabins of any business jet available today, providing superior, and wow, check this next part, superior cabin comfort for its passengers. According to its website, the private jet can cost $15,000 an hour. In 2025, according to Sanders' FEC filings, he spent at least $354,000 in campaign funds to pay for the private jet services through Ventura Jets. That is a lot of money. And my question is, did Sandy, or AOC, did Sandy Cortez file her FEC showing that he made an in-kind donation to her for her riding on the jet he was using to go to a campaign venture? That is a really good question. We'll see, right? If someone knows that one, let me know. All right. So the next thing is, let me close this one out. So I'm going to go back over here. All right, I could read that one right off of here. So I'll just go ahead and put this over here. So Jasmine Crockett, the next non-senator from the state of Texas. Are y'all still with me? Leave me an American flag. I'm going to leave another American flag in here. There we go. All right. So, progressive rising star Jasmine Crockett, who is running for the U.S. Senate in Texas, spent over $120,000 on luxury hotels, transportation, and private security over the course of 2025. Federal Elections Commission filings for Crockett, who has referred to President Donald Trump as a slick con man, only concerned about pleasing the rich, shown she sank just over $124,000 from her House and Senate campaign funds on luxury lodging, high-end transportation, and private security in 2025. Crockett spent $32,600+ on luxury hotels alone in the final quarter of 2025 as Crockett launched her Senate campaign, which she framed as a fight for the people against a system of greed. Go figure, huh? What happened to staying at the Motel 6? We'll leave the light on for you. She spent $11,841 on top name hotels across the country. Hotels Crockett campaigns paid for the last quarter of 2025 include the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, Hotel Zaza, Kempton, and the five-star Los Angeles West Hollywood edition. Meanwhile, she spent a total of $11,738 on limousine and luxury car services in 2025. Her Senate and House filings show she spent $5,446 on Bay Area Lux limos based in California and detailed drivers, a white glove transportation service in the last 3 months of the year. By far the largest expense was private security, despite Crockett repeatedly calling to defund the police. Crockett paid close to $80,000 for security in 2025. A significant portion, $30,079 of those security costs came in the final quarter of 2025, which would be 1 October to 31 December. In 2021, while Crockett was serving in the Texas House of Representatives, she said the defund movement was actually to bring about healing and finally to invest in our communities to make them safer, addressing the root cause of crime by allowing the professionals to do their respective job. Defund is all about being smart on crime. Defund is about lightening the load for your offices on all things they didn't sign up for. Defund is all about finally being fiscally responsible when it comes to policing in this state. Then she spent $80,000 on security. Since entering Congress in 2023, Crockett has emerged as one of the most foremost Democratic voices, especially when it comes to criticizing of the Trump administration and other Republicans. And she took heat in 2025 for several inflammatory comments, including calling for the Department Doge Elon Musk to be taken down. Yeah, she's a blowhard. Talking about wasting, I've been interviewing people running for Congress in Congressional District 31, and that's one of the things I've been asking them. Do you support campaign finance reform? Because expenses like this is crazy. If I want to donate $2,500 to a campaign, I don't want it wasted on luxury hotels or luxury cars or fancy restaurants and stuff like that. I want it to go to actual campaign expenses. And you wonder why it's so hard for people to trust politicians getting donor money, and you get people like Sanders, who I just talked about, and then Crockett, like I just spoke about, and how they treat your money, and it happens over and over and over and over again. It's ridiculous how that happens at all, right? Wow. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, it's already 12:54. I am going to finish this stuff today. So I'm going to definitely go over an hour, okay, like I was just saying. So let me push this back right here. And then, hold on, let me reset here real quick. Give me a break, okay? Woo, doggy. Y'all ready to do this? Okay, so I'm back. All right. So Americans want voter integrity. Why don't Democrats? So this is talking a little bit about the SAVE Act for non-ranked ranked choice voting, non-ballot by mail voting, needing voter ID, right? Proof of U.S. citizenship. This is written by Nicole Russell from USA Today. I loathe to give credit to my friends in the Democrat Party for much, but I will say this about them. They know how, and win to circle the wagons to get things done in Congress. I hate this when it's done in practice, like when Senate Democrats passed the Affordable Care Act in 2009 with just 60 votes with no Republican support. Senate Republicans were able to narrowly pass the One Big Beautiful Bill in 2025, with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. Republicans in Congress must learn from that success and to rip a page from the Democrat playbook and forge ahead with chest power. I don't know what that means. To get more than one bill passed. Let's see what we got going on here. Cameras snatched off Nancy Guthrie's house could have been kidnappers' test to see if cops responded. Okay, so back to this one. The Safeguard America's Voter Eligibility Act, SAVE Act, which would require documentary proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections, passed the U.S. House with some bipartisan support and should be brought to the Senate floor. Hint, 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 Senator Thune. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican, South Dakota, said February 3rd that he was open to pushing the Democrats to oppose a bill toward Democrats who opposed the bill toward the standing filibuster, a seldom used interpretation of the rules to require that senators actively hold the floor with continuous debate or delay or vote or block a vote. As of this writing, Thune has yet to decide if he will do that. Republicans, man, I tell you, man. Republicans need 60 votes, which they might not have, to invoke cloture and end the debate. Republicans should allow Democrats to exhaust themselves with the filibuster, and when it ends, whip up enough votes to pass the SAVE Act. It looks like Senate Republicans and Democrats are stonewalling the bill to a bill the majority of Americans support for different reasons. Republicans support the bill, but are balked because they are short of the votes. Thankfully, Senator Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, co-sponsored the bill and seems to think Republicans are close to forcing Democrats to filibuster 24/7 on the floor. Representative Brandon Gill, which I like a lot, wrote a strong letter to Mitch McConnell of Kentucky asking his committee to stop stalling and push the SAVE Act to the Senate floor. And Mitch McConnell had to go to the hospital. I think this advice is wise in part because Americans already support key elements of the bill because it forces Democrats to explain why they wouldn't support something Americans already do. According to the Pew Research 2025 survey, an incredible 83% of Americans favor requiring all voters to show a government-issued photo ID. A 2024 Gallup poll showed that 83% supported requiring people who are registered to vote for the first time to prove citizenship. If Republicans won't bring the SAVE Act to the Senate floor, they should consider why they are lawmakers in the first place, and their constituents should not hesitate to vote them out of office during their next election. I agree. What point is it having power in Congress that the Republicans do not use it to pass legislation that the American people overwhelmingly support? They need more strategy and grit. And then why don't Democrats want tighter election security? Americans must present a valid photo ID to travel on an airplane or even purchase alcohol. This should be a base requirement for election security. In fact, I can't understand why Democrats wouldn't support this, especially given the popularity among the electorate. Yet Senate Democrats have vocally opposed the SAVE Act despite the fact that the Americans support the key elements of the bill. I can tell you why. President Trump should have said he didn't want the bill. Then they would have supported it. Senate Minority Leader Chuck E. Schumer hates the SAVE Act and as much as call it Jim Crow 2.0. I guess he forgot the Democrats were responsible for the Jim Crow laws back in 1800s. So, if the Republicans can't do this, they shouldn't be in power, which is true. Scott Pressler, he's a get out the vote expert in Pennsylvania. He keeps putting a countdown timer on Senator Thune about his non-support of the SAVE Act, and it's like I think it's like day 35 or day 36 in a row that he refuses to put the thing on the floor of the Senate for vote. Maybe it's time he goes. I said this before. I supported him immensely when he was a congressman, but I don't know what happened to him when he went to the Senate because he's gone stupid. And, we have people like John Cornyn. We have people like John Thune. We have people like Bill Cassidy. We have people like Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. We have these knuckleheads that are U.S. senators, and they do not want to listen to the American public. If Alaska didn't have that ranked choice voting that they have at their state, that Lisa Murkowski wouldn't even be a U.S. senator. She would have been gone home, right? Let me see some American flags in there. Tell me what you think, okay? Tell me what you think. Mike Sharp. Oh. My next door neighbor asked me about the fire trucks. Okay. So, next thing I want to talk about is, what are we looking at? 104. We're doing good. We're going to live. Okay. Don't forget, if you're watching, please click that follow button. Follow the JP8 report and give us a like and chat with me. Come on, someone, throw something in there. Throw me a banana, throw me American flag, throw me a Trump symbol, okay? If you want to help me, give me a tip on the Rumble wallet that we can do now. Look over where it says the JPA report. Right next to it, you see that tip button. Give me a tip, all right? All right, so the next thing is over the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia, all right? Lieutenant Governor Abigail Spanberger, she's cutting ties with ICE immigration with Executive Order number 10, okay? Lieutenant Governor Spanberger on Wednesday officially ended cooperation between a slate of state agencies and federal immigration authorities in an executive directive. Spanberger, who ran as a moderate but ended up as a communist, ended their 287-G agreements between the state Virginia Police and the State Department of Corrections, Department of Wildlife, and the Virginia Marine Resources Commission and the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement. These agreements improperly ceded discretion and authority over Virginia law enforcement to federal authorities. The order states, I have full confidence in the in Virginia law enforcement agencies are keeping Virginia safer and exercising their authority under Virginia law. Virginia always remains ready to enforce the law, and Virginia law enforcement will continue to exercise available authority under valid judicial warrant. The 287 program is, okay, I didn't know this. The 287 program is a federal initiative that allows local law enforcement officers to continue to perform specified immigration and other functions under ICE direction and oversight, such as identifying illegal immigrants in local jails to prevent them from being released back into the communities. And then yesterday, she went and the legislature there are working on legislation that would greatly restrict the kinds of weapons you can own in the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia, to include magazine capacity and types of rounds you can buy. All right? You get what you pay for, people. You get what you pay for. You could have elected Winsome Sears as your governor, but you took a turncoat, someone that spoke in one side of the mouth and it came out another. So you get what you pay for. You have to suffer through it for 4 years, unless it totally destroys your state. Welcome to the DPRV. Next. I'm running out of paper. Well, I'll tell you this before I read this one. The House GOP the other day blocked the District of Columbia City Council ordinance that would have effectively blocked the city employees from using taking advantage of the Trump tax cuts, the overtime and tips and Social Security. They overruled the DC's city council, so that's off the books now. All right, in this one, we go from the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia to the Socialist Republic of California. Gavin Newsome is desperately trying to keep secret details of California's troubled high-speed rail project from costing taxpayers about $215 million per mile. Wow. So 4 miles would cost almost $1 billion. California Post, which is not available on the app on Android yet, but soon, has obtained records of detailing 58 separate construction projects built over the past 8 years along the 171-mile Central Valley route running between Merced and Bakersfield. Central Valley lawmaker Alexandra Mercado threatened to liken the incomplete concrete structures at Stonehenge and said her rural constituents were furious about the waste involved in the project. What have we gotten for those $15 billion? Lots of fancy videos and graphics meant to convince you that this is still a viable project. The high-speed rail was initially projected to cost $33 billion. That's manageable. And connect Los Angeles, San Francisco when it was approved by voters in November 2028. I had just gotten back from Iraq, with full service beginning in the 2020s, which we're in the 2020s now. Those ambitions have been widely scaled back as costs ballooned. Okay. So now they say $36.7 billion, and then another $21 billion to go with that. Yeah. Okay. So I guess he's trying not to get elected to president, which would be fine with me, because Fang Fang Bang Bang, who's running for governor, is not going to get elected either. Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco, one of them two, will be the governor. All right. Whew. I need some water. Hold on just a second. How are y'all doing this afternoon? You hanging in? All righty. So, I'm better. All right, let's take a break for a second. I didn't get to talk about the Dalmatian guys. So now I'm hungry looking at this. Smash burgers. If you want a smash burger, come to Copper's Cove, because the Dalmatian burger guys will take care of you. Okay, that was I just got a text message from my Coriel County Republican Party chair. Okay, so yeah, oh man. Okay, so y'all got to look at the menu. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so if you're hungry and you're in Copper's Cove, y'all seen me do this 1,000 times, which is 300 and something times, but that's beside the point. So they're on the west side of Copper's Cove behind bushes. Good burgers. They're open for 45 more minutes unless they've already sold out, in which you have to wait till 5:30 and then come on out and try again. Okay, so that's the Dalmatians. Go for it. All right. So and don't forget to click like and click follow, please, and give me an American flag in the chat if you're just now joining us. All right. So we're in for the long haul. We're almost done. I'm going to go over. The Texas scorecard. All right. So, Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is running for the United States Senate right now, is suing Bexar County for funding illegal alien deportation defense. Okay. Bexar County, if you didn't know, is spelled Bexar. Well, that's where San Antonio is located at. All right. Attorney General Ken Paxton is asking a court to shut down Bexar County's taxpayer-funded deportation defense program for illegal aliens, arguing it violates state law and the Constitution, Texas Constitution. The Bexar County Commissioners Court voted on December 16th, 2025, to allocate $566,181 in county funds to provide legal services to individuals unlawfully present in the United States through the county's Immigration and Legal Services Fund. Paxton's office noted, with additional comments, total spending on the program would ultimately exceed $1 million. It's $1 million that could go feed poor people in San Antonio. The money is earmarked to pay lawyers to represent illegal aliens in federal deportation proceedings, a role typically handled either by private counsel, nonprofit organizations, not county government. Paxton's lawsuit names Bexar County Commissioners Court and multiple county officials as defendants. The Paxton petition argues that subsidizing deportation defense work for people in the countries unlawfully confers no public benefit, serves predominantly private radical interests, and falls outside any lawful power granted to counties under Texas law. Now, just remember, in Texas, You have the state government in Texas and all counties, all 254 counties in Texas are sub-organizations to the state. So that means if the state tells the counties they need to do this, they have no choice to do that. So they are subverting the Texas Constitution about the conduct of government between the state and county governments. All right. So next. Congressman coalition headed by Texans is leading a campaign against Sharia in America, warning that the ideological is one of the most greatest threats facing our nation today, and calling Texas ground zero in a fight. Two Texas Republicans, Congressman Keith South of McKinney and Chip Roy, who is running for Texas Attorney General of Austin, launched the Sharia-Free America Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives in December. I never heard about it until now. Since then, the caucus has grown to 33 members from 18 states, including Self, Roy, Brandon Gill, Michael Cloud, Monica De La Cruz, and Wesley Hunt. Hold on. It's just... Okay. Hello?
Hello, this is the VA Medical Center
Okay.
in Temple.
I'll let it play. It's confirming a VA appointment.
On Tuesday, February 10 at 10.
Okay. So, just so y'all know, I may not have an appointment. I may not have a podcast on Tuesday at noon. It may push me to 1 or 2. Okay? So to just give me my confirmation. Hold on just a second. I think it's going to have me press 1. Okay, good. You never want to cancel a VA appointment because it'd be hard to get one in return. All right, so in a press conference Tuesday, caucus members laid out, Monica De La Cruz, Edinburgh, Wesley Hunt of Houston. He's running for the U.S. Senate. Let's see. But it's just a free America. What they need to do is pass the applicable laws to prevent that from taking hold, right? And we're working on that here in Texas, which you'll see in just a second. Oh yeah, you want to hear something really cool? I should have put this picture on the podcast. So in Washington County, which is southeast Texas, right? Where Texas independence was signed, Washington on the Brazos. In Washington County, where voters backed President Trump by nearly 80%, a Republican candidate for county judge publicly aligned himself with a drag performer who promotes drag events attended by children. He is now trying to distance himself from his own posts. Brad Traeger, who is seeking the Republican nomination for county judge, has appeared on social media wearing a shirt featuring a caricature of a prominent drag performer. William Koss, who goes by the stage name Nadine Hughes, is known for hosting and promoting drag-themed candidates. One Traeger post shows the candidate wearing a shirt and expressing his support for Koss and Hughes, Hughes, and is one of his performers posing as a woman. His Instagram account shows numerous promotional images and advertisements showing drag events, some of which depict young children present or participating. I don't even want to see the pictures. Despite the post, Traegler told the Texas Scorecard that he has no personal relationship with Nadine Hughes, nor did he have an inventory of every silly little T-shirt I've ever worn. He added that he pledged to do everything my office allows to prevent drag performances or drag-themed events in Washington County if elected. People are free to exercise their right to free speech however they see fit. After a quick review of his social media account, I can easily say that my values do not align with his or hers, whatever, using the pronouns. Wow. So in addition to the shirt, Traegler, however, owns an Instagram account, shows open advocacy for LGBT causes. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So if you're in Washington County and you happen to be listening, so the guy Brad Traegler, don't vote for him. On March 3rd, go for the other Republican candidate. Do not vote for this guy at all for your county judge. All right. So yesterday, I told you about Wally High School with this one Islamic club that was giving out hijabs and Qurans to the kids that go to school there, right? So an unnamed staff member is on leave from Wiley East High School for allowing unauthorized distribution of Islamic materials on campus as part of the World Hijab Day event hosted by the school's Muslim Student Association. On Monday, a group called Why Islam set up a table in the common area inside the school during lunchtime and was handing out copies of the Quran and pamphlets on understanding Sharia, as well as offering hijabs to female students. Wiley Independent School District responded Tuesday telling Wiley East families that administrators had only learned about the event via social media posts on Monday night and confirming that district protocols were not followed with regard to the student clubs and distribution of materials. The district did not identify the club on Tuesday, but the school's Muslim Student Association had advertised on campus World Hijab Day event. One of the club's stated goals of the event was to give a dawah to non-Muslims about Islam. And then Superintendent Kim Spicer sent an update Wednesday clarifying that while communications about the breach had been directed toward Wiley East families, they have come from Wiley ISD, which is a district-led investigation into a campus-level incident, she wrote. Wow. Well, at least they're doing something about it. According to Spicer, women representing Why Islam and MSA club members set up their table and offered passing students candy, Why Islam branded bags, hijabs, understanding Islam pamphlets, and copies of the Quran. Visitors did not actively hand out materials, but offered a bag to students who chose to take the items. Wow. Unbelievable. We let this stuff happen. Now we're playing defense to prevent it from happening again. All right. And then for the last Texas scorecard email or article, Texas sues CARE and Muslim Brotherhood to halt operations in the state. That's what we need right now. Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit. It's amazing he can run for the Senate. He's filing so many lawsuits. Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit seeking to shut down the operations of the Council of American Islamic Relations and the Muslim Brotherhood in Texas, marking the first major enforcement action stemming from Governor Greg Abbott's designation of the groups as foreign terrorist organizations. The lawsuit filed Thursday in Collin County, which is just north of Dallas, seeks a state court to temporarily and permanent injunctions prohibiting the Muslim Brotherhood, CARE, and their affiliated entities from operating, fundraising, recruiting members, or engaging in organizational activity within Texas. Sharia law and the jihadists that follow Sharia law have no business being in Texas, Paxton said. I am in full support of Governor Abbott's lawful declaration that CARE and Muslim Brotherhood are foreign terrorist organizations, and it's imperative that they are stopped from operating in Texas. Radical Islamic terrorists are antithetical to law and order, endanger the people of Texas, and are an existential threat to our values. And it says, this last paragraph I'm going to read is, the state's petition alleges that CARE functions as the American arms of the Muslim Brotherhood and transnational Islamist organization with a state objective of establishing global Islamic state governed by Sharia law. The state asserts that the group's activities constitute ongoing public nuisance and pose a threat to safety and security of Texas. And then the Governor Abbott labeled them as a foreign terrorist organization in November 2025, which was the right move, right? The Texas legislature should have made that happen during the legislative session. All right, so we got that done. And then there. Give me a second. Is that the JP8? Yep, that's JP8. All right, so I got those done right there. So we're making it. It's an hour and 28 minutes into it. I just got a little bit more to do. Okay, this is just awareness stuff. So if you're living in Texas and you're planning to vote, early vote starts the 17th of February, goes to the 27th of February, and primary day is on March 3rd. And if there's a runoff, it'll be May 26th. All right? And then tomorrow at 10 in Copper's Cove at the Trinity Worship Center on 1802 Martin Luther King in Copper's Cove will be the first Republican Party Voters Forum. And then Monday evening at 6 p.m. will be the second one. It'll be at the Gatesville Civic Center in Gatesville. All right? I think the one on Monday evening will have congressional candidates at it also. All right? And the next thing I want to talk about was the Lincoln Reagan dinner, which will take place on February 21st at 6 p.m. in Gatesville at the Texas Station Event Center. Tickets are $60 a person or $100 a ticket. And the QR code down on the bottom left will get you to the ticket spot, or you can go to the my show notes, and at the bottom you'll see a link for the Lincoln Reagan dinner. You can click on that and you can buy your tickets. And there's still tables available if you would like, all right? So, and then one other thing is on Tuesday, the 10th, is the Copper's Cove Conservative Club at Giovanni's in Copper's Cove at 6 p.m. Like I said, it's going to be an open mic night. So if you're a Republican and want to speak at the what we call the 4 C's, come on out to Giovanni's at 6 p.m. and talk to voters. Okay. What's the other thing? On 19th of February, there's going to be an outing for the West Side Conservative Coalition at the 254 Club, I believe, for people to mix and talk to city council people that are running in Killeen, and last chance to bump into candidates for the upcoming primary. All right, so if you want to find me on my socials, you can find me on X at James Pierce Jr. And then you can find me on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. on YouTube at the JP8 Report 67, True Social, James A. Pierce, and my email for the JP8 Report is jpa report@gmail.com. We made it, people. I closed out all the news for the day. The only thing I didn't do was America 250 for tomorrow, but I'm going to take care of that Monday morning. All right, Monday, so we get that done. And then I have to really consider about Tuesday. So I have that VA Pullman at 10. So that means I won't get back here till almost noon. That means if my Pullman's at 10, I need to leave by like 8:45 because I got to drive all the way to Temple. So I'll get back here. So if I can write my outline before I leave, I can do it early in the afternoon. I will know more probably Tuesday morning if there's going to be a podcast on Tuesday, okay? I will. There will definitely be the morning brief. And if y'all have not started watching the morning brief, it's an abbreviated JPA report. I do that 6:30 on 6:30 Central. It's called JP's Morning Brief. Listen to that. It's a lot different than the JPA report, okay? But other than that, I'm ready to start the weekend. I'm going to get me some chow, get something to drink, and see what's up and return that text message. All right, so this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.